Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 406th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, November 11th, 2021. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be host today for Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I believe he's ready, willing, and able to begin today's Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning, good day to you. Wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, we welcome you back. 406. We're nearly coming to our 8th year anniversary, even though teaching on this line with Rick goes long before that. We have passed many milestones in the process of the development of the Keshe Foundation, and one of the most glorious times for us has been bringing the knowledge and its capabilities and what he can do back to his motherland in Iran. We had the pleasure this week to see that the Keshe Foundation in manufacturing in Iran have put its mark on what we call the Iranian territory. The first factory of the Keshe Foundation in Iran was put up and has gone into operation, going into producing magraves in Iran as of this week. And it's good to see that we become the nation without border. It's good to see that the Keshe Foundation has become a sign of delivery irrespective of borders, nationality, and race. China, Tehran, Arizona, Mexico. We've seen it in Italy, in Africa, and in Austria. It is nice to see the flagships working, delivering the technology for confirmation of its application. We will see very soon the products in the next 3-4 weeks coming out of this factory with the proudly logo of the Keshe Foundation in Iran. And we are hoping to extend this to at least another 5 to 10 nations in the next 2 or 3 years. This gives us what we call the strength to be there to serve humanity and to be there to bring the changes. Very soon out of these factories in Iran, we will see spaceship systems coming up. We will see the development of the new technologies, which is at the moment out of the reach of many. It's beautiful to see this, thanks to the Iranian team, the support of especially the Keshe Foundation Iran as an organization. And in so many ways, we thank the Office of His Eminence Al-Khali of Iran and the Iranian leadership and the Sepah of Iran supporting and nurturing this technology to come to merge as part of the technology which bring the change. This factory is exclusively built to produce magraves. And we have already received orders from China for export, and we will release these from Iran. The team in Iran working extensively, and Keshe Foundation, in support of his work, will extend these productions. We're endeavoring to complete the Nigerian side before Christmas to start moving. It is interesting that how us as knowledge seekers have kept the flag of the knowledge, new technology alive. And we are pushing it through. We are pushing it very much through, even though some people use our images and our pictures and knowledge for lying and cheating to the others. In a report which is now has seen, and we've seen many of us, is the picture of what we call the old, what we see, the Keshe Foundation reactor, which was built in Iran. And as many of us know, this reactor with its housing is used for the flight testing in Sharif Tehran University. What is amazing, and many of you have not seen, is this, which you will understand immediately. This is the reactor of Keshe Foundation, a copy. And the ex-Prime Minister of Israel, as you see him, claiming it as a Iran nuclear weapon technology developing for weapon. Now we can see how a technology can be misrepresented by the people to create mayhem, to create war. We give humanity the means and the tools to travel. And what we see, those are what the wrong-minded change the same thing. It is interesting how close the picture is to the reality of the center of this reactor, because I am the designer and I know what I've designed, and we see very strange thing. And the strange part is, for me, is this part, which you will see, very interesting, is this. How did the Israelis got their hand on the internal design of the reactor? We know one way, the Aqsa, President Ahmadinejad, the way he sold the Iranian nuclear physicist to be murdered, has passed the technology on. The similarity between these two reactors is so close, even the frame is so close, that knowledge of space technology for peace and development by a misguided mind of Netanyahu became the reason for Iran to become part of the weapon technology, by lying, by cheating. And as I said, now we understand how our knowledge, our technology, our assets as a Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers have been abused by those who want to change things to their own benefit. And in so many ways, as I said very clearly, as we see on the picture, this is not far from what you saw on that picture, but now more sophisticated. But this is what will go on the table of the negotiation +1 on the 28th of November when the negotiation starts in Vienna. The same thing as Netanyahu claimed to be the new Iranian nuclear reactor now is shown, as I explained in other teaching. The system which replaced centrifuge. Iran does not need centrifuge when it's in a position of such advanced technology that can produce 100% enriched uranium at will. If you remember, I warned and I explained Iran has passed 95% and 90%. Iran can produce 100%. But this has other implication for all of us. In our work, in our sharing our technology, be aware that our work does not become a tool to be used to discredit us and at the same time for war. The flagship, the banner of Keshe Foundation has been peace, knowledge to be used as knowledge in exchange for peace. It is part of our work. This is part of teaching so extensively and so deeply. When you understand the time of weapon technology has gone, because anybody can produce plutonium, uranium, and any other which they like at will. It's the time for all of us and our leaders to understand the time has come for man to use materials as weapon technology. As I said to Iranian leadership very recently. It is like when you look at this machine and you look at the what we call the present centrifuges, even Iran has managed to reach 30,000 RPM. It is very interesting. That is like in the movies where you see the guy pull the sword out, which is the present Iranian advanced central, what we call centrifuge system, and the other guy just pull a gun out. The sword cannot move because it's a waste of time. There is no match. Our gun is our knowledge. Our gun is these systems that makes those centrifuges obsolete. And this will be part of the cornerstones of peace, part of the work of the knowledge seekers, to understand our work comes by serving. Our work does not stop just because we manage to show, to deliver, to bring and cajole more leaders to understand more and more. When you look at the structure in the new exhibition center, the two pieces of Iranian system, which Netanyahu used to show as a new Iranian nuclear reactor, is sitting in the center of the exhibition of the lens. When you come in, it's in the flight mode, it's in the center, hanging in the air. And this is important for all of us. This is important for all the knowledge seekers to understand that we are here to change the position. We are here to what we call, we change the condition of understanding. We are here to bring the position of change for all of us in so many ways that mankind will be good enough to deliver technologies to each other. In so many ways, we will see changes. We will bring in the positions of understanding that new technologies delivered by us has to have the credibility of what we call application, credibility of what we call implication, the credibility of being there to understand, to be able to change, to bring the changes. And it's more important for all of us to be able to understand we are the game changers. We are, with our knowledge and technology, those who will bring the change, the what we call understanding, and what we call the passion for peace. The passion for delivering a knowledge that brings many, many things to all of us. What would be the next step? What would be the most perfect things for all of us to see, to have, to possess, and to deliver? In understanding this, we see the knowledge of the creation. We see the knowledge of understanding. We see the changes that we are waiting for. Delivery of the new, what we call a space system for flight, is combination of understanding the work of the systems. When we endeavor to show more, when we go back to teach more, never think about how somebody will misguidedly use your knowledge and technology of the plasma for misguiding others or trying to create mayhem. Be part of the structure that you understand. Be part of the structure that you always think positive. Think good, act good, and deliver by the way you do good for it. And thinking good, doing good, it brings us the good result at the end of it. When I saw the pictures of Netanyahu, I thought, this man, whatever you give him, will turn it upside down the way he likes. But gladly, he's out of the scene. Gladly, Soon we'll see this guy behind the prison bars, or what we call misconduct, as a leader of the what we call Western world. And what is interesting, and there is a message to world leaders who meet, to be aware of what I call misinformation by people like Netanyahu, who fed the American and the public that Iran is in possession of the new nuclear weapon, where that weapon is the knowledge that all of you carry as part of the space technology. It's not easy to change the mind of those who have a mindset and they want to think that way. It is a shame to see how the world leadership allows such a misconduct, such a misrepresentation to come forward. The sanctions on Iran got more and more tightened by these misguided misinformations by the state of Israel to the Americans, and then believing in it. My technology, what we developed as a tool of flight, has been misrepresented as a tool of war. And this hurts deeply inside to see these kind of misrepresentations. We've seen the same what has happened to us in the past year and a half across internet. We've seen the same what has happened to us since we left in early 2013 from one nation to another. This has been the way that mankind has to change, by spreading the knowledge, by opening the factories, by spreading centers that they can deliver technology that everybody uses. These kind of behavior become isolated. In response to what we've seen in the past few months and past few years, bombardment of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers with everything possible, we'll respond back today in a very beautiful way. When we see the factory in Iran, Keshe Foundation will definitely in the coming weeks will open its first university in Europe, with guidance and affiliation to one of the leading universities in Iran, then with the United States. In this respect, Arizona will be extended to a university, a state-level institute, financed totally by the Keshe Foundation. We do the same in conjunction with the Chinese. In the response to what we have seen, Keshe Foundation has come to facilitate an arrangement that will open, starting from January of this year, 1,000 what we call enhancement center, wellness centers around the world at the rate that we can supply the enhancement units to them. Which means we expect to open about one a week, passing February, March, and thereon to extend to 2 centers around the world. We make a decision where and how this will be done. Most of the system places, as we call the wellness centers, will be constructed, and negotiation will start with the Chinese construction company, China Construction, one of the leading what we call producers of properties and landmarks around the world, which means you will see replication one after another. We will equip all the centers with at least 3 to 6 body enhancement units, 3 to 6 vertical and horizontal units, and a number of the new, what we call vision and brain enhancement units. And then once we complete the first cycle, we go back and we extend it. We are not opening a franchise looking for people to buy the Keshe Foundation. All these structures will be owned and controlled by the Keshe Foundation directly. which means as of today, we are not waiting to somebody to come and say, I want to buy 1 or 2 machines. We are going out to set out the centers, owned by all of us, owned by Keshe Foundation as one nation, and the progress in that direction. We have already informed the authorities of Iran in the government level that the Keshe Foundation from December on will start the process of building the first CO2 capture area in Tehran for capture of CO2 for change of air pollution in Tehran. Keshe Foundation, through its organizations and facilities, has allocated a large finance for this job. The same will be done in New York, the same will be done in London, and the same in Beijing. Again, all the constructions will go to what we call China Construction Company, because they deliver within 3 to 6 months from instruction to the key to operation. The reason we've gone for the CO2 capture is very simple. We show the capability of the technology directly in public domain. In this process, as I said, there is no ambiguity. And the production of capture of CO2 in a very large scale, up to 1,000 tons a year, will force what we call to close the discussion of the global warming and all the false commitments we've seen in past week in Scotland. There is no need to create fake numbers, and the way we structured it, we don't need for no government to finance us. That will find a finance for the project. As part of my private financial background and the financial structure, and the people who work with us will allow us to bring this very rapidly into the open. Keshe Foundation will endeavor to increase a lot of work around the world very rapidly. As many of you know, the Keshe Foundation Mexico, which is still owned on the ownership on the paper of the MACRE, is still financially and structurally is part of the Keshe Foundation International. And this, through the agreements, will allow Mexico to be financially supported and structured to a high level, again, for production, mass production of what we call high-level advanced technologies. We finance these through agreements, which is done. On the other hand, we will see the establishment of the large structures, especially in China, in Iran, and United States, for space technology. Keshe Foundation will endeavor to increase the production of the flight system to at least a significant numbers by the end of next year. The technology, again, is part of the 5+1 negotiation that we do not ask the Americans or the Chinese or the people on the table of negotiation that you give us this, we do that. We tell them we are investing, we are in your country, we are already established, deal with it. It's your problem, not ours. It's yours to bring what we call sanity to a lot of things and mankind. And by the construction of the first 5 CO2 centers around the world, the whole chapter of the global warming will come to an end. The structure is very simple. Keshe Foundation will build in a specific way, with the permission of the authorities, 5 centers around each city. And then we give what you call family units, the enhancement portable units, to each family, poor families, which means they can look after the unit, maybe 1 or 2, make sure it can produce vast amount of CO2, and we buy the CO2 from them. For the processes which the Keshe Foundation has and can apply the CO2s. In a way, we bring wealth to poverty nations, poverty families, even in the richest nations around the world. In a way, it's like giving a cow which you own to a man who has nothing and tell him, you look after it, milk it, and I'll pay you for the milk. And I support you to feed the family and not just the cow. This is important as part of the structure of One Nation, One Planet. Most of the works we'll do around the world from now on will be based in how we can change the life of individuals, not just to deliver technology. In the coming months and coming years, Keshe Foundation will place a large number of the machines at the disposal of what we call organizations which are there to help nations. We hear about hunger in Afghanistan. We hear about hunger and lack of food in different parts of the world due to what we call positioning, due to drought, due to fire, due to earthquake. These units, for every unit we
Excuse
build.
me, Mr. Keshe, I'm having trouble hearing you here.
Why?
I'm not sure if it's at my end or
It's on your end, I presume.
or what's happening that way.
Can you hear me? Am I clear?
Lost all audio.
We hear you clearly, Rick. They're right, we can hear you clearly. It's your new microphone, I think.
Sorry, Mr. Keshe.
Can you hear me?
I'm not able to hear you.
Yes, but everybody
Azar
else
says
can.
you are good, Mr. Keshe, and clear. We can hear okay. Okay, so something's
your end.
happened with the audio on my Zoom end. So let me, I think I'll probably have to restart my Zoom, but let me see if I can try something here.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now through
Okay.
well, I see. Let me see if it'll.
Yep. I can carry on.
My desktop audio captures no longer capturing. So
Can you hear me?
Okay. I may have to restart my.
I think it's something to do with your
in
audio,
order for that to hook
your
up again.
microphone.
So
Please.
you just carry on, Mr. Keshe, and I'll come
Okay,
back in shortly.
thank you very much. As a co-host, we can carry on. KF Studio is online. We can carry on and record everything. As we said, in cooperation with international organizations, we'll make sure for every system we make, there are a number of systems in the backup for emergency delivery that people can use for overcoming hunger and everything else. In a short time, Keshe Foundation will deliver majority programs directly through KF. The beauty with our work is that we can work closely with many countries, and mainly Keshe Foundation will work through Universal Council members to be able to facilitate the delivery of the technologies. We will not leave things out, but will become all-inclusive. And we try to bring the support of what we call different world leaders to support the delivery of technology to their country, but not use our, what we call, delivery of technology as part of their political use. As part of our work, we will very soon announce the involvement of the Keshe Foundation in the United States and in an European country which is highly polluted in the water level and extremely connected to the council level. This is one of our priority because these waters are getting exported around the world, even though they carry the most dangerous cancerous agents in different shape or form. in the food structure. In response to our work, we look at the collaboration of knowledge seekers to help, to bring us to see, but at the same time, we have to be ready for it to deliver. As I told the Keshe Foundation China yesterday, the new management structure which is taken over, that we will extend in the same industrial zone the manufacturing capability of the Keshe Foundation up to 100,000 square meters to be able to support the delivery of the new technologies around the world. We see China as a bedrock of our manufacturing, as everything is set up in there. As around the world, the companies shut down past 20, 30 years, went to China, they have not managed to rebuild it. We go to the nation of Iran for technical support, delivery of the high quality materials to support part of this. Our negotiation will be on delivery of the technology, on delivery of what we call scientific advancement in exchange for peace. I recently spoke with a number of the world leaders to be that the Keshe Foundation will support their nomination and presidential office if they sign their nations into peace, which means in coming to power, they curtail the army, and the army will become part of the helping the nation to build the nation. In a way, we are not taking money, but we are putting the finances back into the nation. In the coming time, this has taught us a lot. Keshe Foundation has become and will become a force to be reckoned with, and a force in knowledge and technology and nothing else, and delivery of technologies. We have to prepare ourselves to bring the new change. We understand what is needed. We understand what is involved. We understand what has to be involved for us to bring new conditions in. We see a number of knowledge seekers have start dripping to see the Enhancement Center, what we call LINS exhibition. And many of them come expecting to see us or be in touch. I do apologize. You'll see me around the exhibition center walking and doing things, but we do not to be disrespectful, but due to the corona conditions, we try to keep distance, that we stay safe. We respect you, we thank you for coming to the center, but please do not expect close communication, as the situation in Upper Austria has reached beyond control. For our safety and our staff and ourselves, we keep a very clear distance from what we call public. Austria has had 11,000 infections yesterday, according to government statistics, and it's running out of control. So please, when you come in, come with pleasure, but understand we are trying to protect what we call ourselves from the further infections and other things where many of you bring with you, as without knowing, maybe from your countries and from wherever you come. We thank you for coming. It's beautiful to see knowledge seekers making their way, but for the time being, we have to be. We are very, what we call cordial. We always welcome the knowledge seekers, but the present situation does not allow it, and do not take it as an offense. We take it as part of what it is, and we have to deal with it. Going into the teaching of the Keshe Foundation. In the past weeks, I start to opening knowledge in a different way, in understanding deeper, in understanding more about our work, and more about the background to the knowledge of the creation. And this is very important for most of you to understand, especially those who teach in the background within the Keshe Foundation as teachers. When we come to understanding of the process and creation, and understanding of the whole totality, we need to be aware of one point, and that is how much and who and where and when we can extend the knowledge of creation. As we see in life on earth, and as we have gathered the knowledge and information as part of the knowledge seekers in understanding the work of what we call universe, we need to understand a little bit more, a little bit move out of the village of the earth. When we are in the village of earth, when we sit and live within the structure of this village, we see ourselves in different parts of this planet having different shapes and different heights and different faces and different behaviors according to where we are born. Chinese looking, black skin, white skin, blue eyes. And we have changed our appearances according to position and places and atmospheric condition and what we call geological conditions. And so we have accepted it because he's Chinese. But we don't say why. What cause? Why can't we give birth straight out of Chinese, without Chinese parents in Africa? Because African condition and environment has forced that kind of skin, that kind of lifestyle and plants and the rest. But this is what has been your knowledge. But what is extension to this knowledge is that the condition of the earth and how man has 2 legs and 2 arms goes back in its position and the field which receives from the sun. Our sun dictates, the fields of our sun dictates the shape, the color, the fields which you receive, which allows the creation of amino acid. And this is part of our life. We have received the fields of the sun, not only in the formation and the format of the interaction of the fields with the creation of oxygen and nitrogen, but the sun itself creates other fields which are invisible to us, but interact and create the condition of this life. In a way, now you understand maybe when I say the food we eat is 20% of what we use. The other 80% comes from the environment. Maybe the earth produces 40% of it. The rays and the magnetic field of the sun will produce 10 to 15% of it, but we never considered. These come in as the rays, fields, magnetic field interactions, which are not at the moment to the level of understanding of the matter. But the extension of the knowledge has to be added that our sun is part of the galaxy with a central point. So we receive fields and radiations in a way on Earth from the galaxy. This is another 10 to 15% of food supply, energy supply. These are the fields which Earth does not provide. These are the energies which the solar system does not supply. Now you understand why we are part of the universal community. And within this structure, there is furthermore, which is the fields which we absorb from the universe. This field gives us the majority of the what we call our lives, because it's source dependent and source strong. To us, a galaxy looks so huge, but in fact, it's another kidney in a body, or maybe a section of the kidney in a body, or a cell of a kidney in a body. So we get another 10 to 15% from our, what we call universe. Now you see how the teaching fits in. But we have another dimension, which is the unicos and the dimension of the creator, which again we receive directly from source. This is in our body, becomes the center of the soul, the center of the cell of the body of the man. This is where the connection comes in. To man is hidden, is not there, because man never considered he receives, but in fact it was created out of it. When you understand this, you understand the change in the game of creation. Then you understand, as the knowledge of the man extends to the new, what we call level, then we will choose, through that understanding, different speeds of travel. Because then we can capture that speed. Even if we go to the depth of it, we can capture the field strength to the creator. Then we understand the limitation of the speed of light to be the ultimate is for the man in the boundary of the physicality of his life. Then we understand more in how gradually the structure of the life will become more. This knowledge on this screen is sacrosanct if the man wants to travel the span of the universe, and it still exists within its dimension. The conversion of the soul of physicality with understanding the strength of the soul of the creator, where you put everything as the soul of the man, as the soul of physicality, and the soul of the creator as the strength, as the soul of the creation. Then now you understand how every created things in the universe are connected. Every ray which is radiated out of the life and extension of the life of the creator in different spectrums, as they interact, has become part of another life in the dimension of creation. Then you understand how all of us live in that dimension and direction and have taken shape in different forms and formats and shapes in the unicos, in the dimension of the creation and the creator. This becomes part of why I tell you to understand the knowledge that no man from the higher level becomes a magician of you in the lower level because he sees slightly different than you do. The end of prophethood, the beginning of understanding the totality, end of magicians, and understanding in more depth the knowledge of creation. If you have understood this, then you understand how when we put you in the what we call the flight system, according to the clarity of the understanding of the soul of the physicality of the man with his soul, you can decide in which levels you will fly. There is no limitation, except the understanding of the man in the dimension of the soul of his own condition. Now you understand, in the teachings, always said, there shall be no prophet. As man's knowledge is there for him to understand, the knowledge of prophet is according to understanding of his own creation. Then you understand how, in the word of many of you, you are waiting for Messiah, you're waiting for Mahdi and the rest of it. Because that is the level of your understanding of your creation. That's your Mahdi, that's your Messiah, that's your Savior. Then none of you and none of the creation in the universe waits for somebody to bring the message except you to the knowledge of yourself. But don't get embedded in dogmas and trying to protect what you understood. Be openly to the all knowledges from man, to the knowledge of those who come across different levels of universe to teach you. When the human race reaches that point, the human race is ready to embrace the knowledge of the creation and the creator. Then, if you look at this picture and look at the picture in the back of the book number 3, all we've done for you to understand is we have put Creator in the center. And the rest of the divisions, according to the strength, has become what you have seen. And then now you understand how the knowledge has been taught to you so profoundly in the books, where you see the connections, the dimensions of creation, the understanding depending on the strength. Then, in so many ways, mankind will become to understand its potential in what we call the position of the creation. And then you will understand more. And then in that process, you do not need to be seen and be there to see the Creator. As the knowledge of the totality becomes knowledge of the creation. And one day, mankind will understand what it means. I made man in an image of myself, as the man has access to all. Depends how you have twitched it in understanding the knowledge of the creation. Maybe now, for the first time, for you as knowledge seekers, becomes easier to understand the pattern, the process of the teachings over past years. What we have taught in past 19 years, more or less, in public domain, from the governments to individuals, was to bring mankind to the process, to dispositions. To understand that the totality of the life in the universe is equal for all. Depending on the extent of your openness to the knowledge of creation and the environment, you have become conditioned to different ways of living. But in essence, the soul of the Creator is within every cell of the creation. It does not matter if you're on Earth, planet Zeus, a galaxy, or a universe, or within them. Even the separation of the what we call planetary system from each other within it there is a magnetic field separation that they position. So there must be a life even with that environment, because it exists interaction of the field. It's not just one stick that you have and you see, but it's the totality of the structure which mankind has accepted to what we call endeavor to understand about its own creation. This part of the teaching will come to become the way for you to understand the creation, or it'll become something which will be hanging there till one day you understand the change. For us to extend our knowledge, for us to extend our what we call the understanding, is for us to understand the truth about our own creation. The truth about how we come to survive, how we come to live. Now, with this picture, if you understood, you understand the teaching from day one, that we only take, as I said just a few minutes ago, 20% of our energy from the food we eat. And that energy, which we take for the physical dimension, can be replaced with energies of the universe without killing, without destroying, without, in so many ways, putting a lot of people, a lot of being in danger. Knowledge seekers, now you have a bigger problem than you ever thought. Now you become your own Messiah. What does your soul tells you? What can you accept in the knowledge of the creation, and how much, into which fields of the universe you can tap into to create the pleasures of the life within the dimension of no physicality. And then you understand, even the earth itself is another pack of fields which is on its way to become something else in the dimension of the creation. Those who went with the work and understanding and the work of Mitra, which means they served, they find a path, very short, but very direct, in different levels of the creation to the creator. Those who go on a path of other ways most probably find the journey has become longer, and it's a longer way to find it back to understand the totality of the knowledge of the creation, the hell and the heaven. The hell is when understanding of the life of the creation becomes harder, and then you need more magicians. And the heaven is when you understand the process of the creation and become closer to understand the totality and nothing else. So it's your behavior, your thinking, which dictates you which way you swing the life after you separate from dimension of physicality, or in a way when you now understand how to bring the physicality in the dimension of the soul of the man to move. Don't forget, I said in one of the teachings to a man of the rope, to a priest, I said in a simple way, maybe you understand more. Your conduct decides if you're on the journey of a still trying to understand less to one day you understand more, or you understand from the beginning the more of it, that you take that journey towards the higher order of intellect. Then the speed of travel depends on the level of your intellect. The man at this moment, according to one of the fallacies, the highest speed is the speed of light. Because that's all he can see, the light through his eyes. Now the next level will be what the man will see in the level of understanding of his own in all dimensions. This is part of our work. This is part of what the Keshe Foundation has done. And how we will end up to be. The process of totality, the process of interaction, depends on us. Depends on us how much we understand the totality, how much we endeavor totality, but don't think that we are the only one, and to what extent we understand is the only way. The old say says that all roads will end in Rome. And in all dimensions, all roads end with the Creator. But it depends which road you take. Understand the knowledge. Understand the purpose of the teaching. Understand all these equipments and systems we give you is to elevate your knowledge, not your physicality. Understand that the knowledge of the creation sits in different ways, and we are masters in it. We teach you in different ways till you understand. The knowledge of the Creator and his teaching in the dimension of the soul will match according to the level of understanding of the physicality of the man's soul, not the soul of the man. And how much its interaction will create that dimension of emotion. And something which many of you will realize and have known for a long time, and you call it a dream. And that dream is in fact, in one level of your soul, you have taken that trip. If you've taken a trip in a dimension of physicality, you will see the physical dimension. If you take in the dimension of the what we call the unicos, in that dream you see the man of unicos. And if you take in that trip in the dimension of the strength of the Creator, in the knowledge of essence, you shall spend time in that domain. This is what we call enlightenment. Is the enlightenment of the knowledge, enlightenment of the understanding the process of the creation and the Creator. We don't call ourselves a prophet, we call ourselves universal messengers, as we deliver the message of the Creator across the universe to all the same. We are part of the soul of the Creator and the knowledge that enlightens that everyone gets the same chance to access to his beauty and knowledge. At the same time, we live in a dimension of physicality that it needs to understand the process of the soul of the messengers as well. When a messenger claims to be a prophet, is the time when the messenger has failed in delivering the message the correct way, because he has put condition of physicality for his own benefit to the consciousness of him becoming one, and the rest to serve one. This is why now you understand we appear amongst you even as knowledge seekers, because we still seek to understand the process of how mankind will take from this position to the next, that we are ready to teach the lower evolution of life. Those who elevate in this direction, we have already reached. This is the process that we want to stop, that man does not go even worse than killing and destroying as he slides down the slope. Then you understand the change of the game, that there is no temple except the temple of the soul of the man. There is no temple except within the temple of the soul of physicality of the man, and that temple prays only to one, serves only one, and that's the totality of the creation and the creator as totality of the whole lot. Now you understand when it's said again and again, I made man in the image of myself. As I radiate further, I reach the man and I create the man in my own image. But what I have released in conjunction with what I have from different dimensions gives the man different shapes and forms according to position of manifestation. We don't hold back the knowledge. It's you who holds back the understanding. And to confirm your what I call laziness, you create other problems for us to create and change the knowledge and transfer the knowledge. As we saw, the system for flight was changed to system for destruction to create knowledge. Now you understand, when we told you a long time ago, when we approached through CIA to Netanyahu to tell him we want to speak peace, he said, I speak peace with anyone but Kesh, because he gets his own way, because he knows he used the tools of Kesh to create more mayhem and murder, and he could not stand face to face. You got to understand, the whole process of the creation is to become, to create, and to be aware of totality. Awareness and seeking to understand why you need to be aware creates the position of knowledge, expansion of the thoughts, and creation of new dimensions. Something which many of you might have a problem with, but many of you will come to understand is very simple. We go back to the same position and the same structure. We put the man in the center. Then we put different dimensions on its dimension of physicality. And then we create, as we said, the other dimensions. As a man, when you, at the strength of the dimension of physical condition, in the interaction with the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality, you create an emotion in the brain of the man. It's where the two interact. You create emotion of physicality, cry, laughter. Now, when you move to the newer strength, through the soul of the man, an interaction of the soul of the man with what we call the soul of the dimension of the solar system, and understanding of it, you create an emotion of that level, which now exists, that you understand the totality of the emotion between the man and the universe. And it goes the same, with the same strength and root, to the dimension of what we call man soul, with a dimension of that. So you create a new dimension of what we call emotion. And then, even further, you create a dimension of the interaction with the soul of the man and the soul of the creator. So you have a new dimension of emotion in respect to the creator. So now you understand, man at any time is living different levels of understanding and emotion, even within the structure of physicality of the man. When it's the soul of physicality and the soul of the man, you create physical emotion. When it's between the what we call the other dimensions, we create different emotions. And so man at any time has been all the time, in all levels, been having and living different dimensions, depending on the level of the same soul. While you're in a dimension of the physical life, you see and understand the dreams of physicality. You go to a restaurant, you see the dog, but at the same time, you are interacting with other dimensions. You are interacting as part of your structure, as they're feeding you, you create those emotions. And this is what I tell you, and I've been telling you, that according to this, according to understanding of the intellect, you move up or you move down the line. There is no order. You can be living in the dimension of emotion and reacting to your creator, while you live in the dimension of the physicality and you're there. The two are happening at the same time because you're getting fed at different strengths for different purposes. And this is what the man has been blind to. Now you understand. The love of the creator shining on the man has never stopped, because you receive it according to that intellect and that position. Now you understand why we position the man in the center, as is receiving everything from all dimensions. And it's very much like a funnel hole, the creator and the man. And how much more you want to go down this rabbit in the dimension of understanding the soul of the creator, where this dimension is enlightenment and heaven, and this direction is what we call the hell. The more you give from your soul, that you have access to receive more, the more you take, the heavier you become. The black hole of the creation. Mankind soon will understand this. Mankind soon will come to understand the totality as he progresses to understand the purpose of his creation. And in Keshe Foundation, then one of the knowledge seekers made a video of the teaching that you become a star. And the way you elevate when you move in that dimension, you shine on more. And depends how much you want to shine. And would you elevate so much that you shine with the Creator at the same time as part of the creation? You care about your children in the dimension of physicality. What about caring about your soul as you elevate and you have to deliver the perfect delivery? Now, teachings from past years start making sense in another dimension and direction. I made man in the image of myself. We go for a break and we come back. And I hope I open another dimension in teaching and understanding of the man for himself as we prepare man to join according to his wishes in his teaching, in which level man wants to be part of universal community. And do you need to spend billions to get from there to here? That you see the higher level order, or you enlighten enough that you tap directly within your soul from the energies which you receive to shine back on. Rick, if you can go on a break and come back, and then okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. So we'll take a few minutes here for a commercial break and be back shortly. Thank you, everyone.